bay and gave me a little push. My recollection was that it did not go very well at all. Another time, I caught a baby squirrel. Dad said I could keep it as a pet, but we had to get rid of the fleas. So he and I sat on the front porch. He held the baby squirrel on his chest, and he took the flea powder and poured it on the baby squirrel. But what happened was all the fleas jumped onto Dad's chest. And I would see all these fleas on his chest hair. Sometimes Dad would bring me to Preble High with him when he was the starter at the track meets. I love watching him just shoot the gun. You know, he'd be the guy that would shoot the cap gun, and it was just something that really stuck with me. Later, when I was in 4th grade, don't worry, I'm not going to go through all the grades. I had an assignment of rock collection and identification. At the time, Dad was a science teacher at Washington Junior High School. He brought me to his classroom, and he had all sorts of really cool rocks in old cigar boxes. Shale, mica, quartz, obsidian, things you just wouldn't find. He helped me put each rock on top of a piece of cotton into an egg carton. We had to identify and describe each rock. I knew I was going to have the best project in my class. Unfortunately, Mrs. Ratner didn't feel the same way. She gave me a C+ because she knew I got the rocks from Dad. It was still the best project in the class. In middle school, Dad took me with him to plan his field trip to the Kettle Moraine. He always enjoyed doing this. I learned about dunes, kettles, cames, eskers. This is one of my favorite things to do with Dad. At home, Dad didn't cook much, but when he did, I loved it. At some point, Pam had decided to go back to college. She took a couple of night classes, so it was Dad's responsibility to cook dinner. I will never forget his baked bean casserole. Not so much because it was the best baked bean casserole in the world, because at the end he crumbled potato chips on top of it. That was so delicious. It was delicious. When I was 16, I wanted to return to Camp Haran, where I'd been a camper, but I wanted to be a counselor. But Doug and Pam told me, oh, no. You are going to be a cocktail waitress. And I was like, okay, I'll be a cocktail waitress. Thus started my long career in hospitality. At some point, Doug taught me how to bartend. Doug taught me how to bartend the proper way, the old-fashioned way. I still feel to this day that I still make one of the best old-fashions in Sheboygan County, thanks to Dad. As we got a little older, and just a teeny bit wild, Lisa and I, where's Lisa?
I'm here.
Hi. Lisa and I started going out to the local establishments together. Sometimes we would stay out until bar time. Imagine that. Sometimes there might be an after-bar party. Imagine that. I remember one particular night when Lisa and I came strolling in at about 3 in the morning. Dad came down the stairs, and I thought we were going to be in really big trouble. Basically, he just sat down with us, and he said, girls, you're driving your mother crazy. Can you please try to get home a little earlier? And we're like, oh, okay, Dad, we'll try. I don't think we ever did try, though. Lastly, as an adult, we bought seat pins for my parents. We had all these grand ideas of how we were going to make things better, and do all sorts of updates and crazy things like take credit cards and get computers. I think we thought we could do so much better than Pam and Doug. Well, about a month into the season, I remember going to talk to Pam and Doug and saying, went something like this: Mommy, Daddy, how'd you do this? What do you do now? Can you help us? Fortunately, they were happy to share their years of experience with us, and we are still eternally grateful for that. So why these memories? Each individual memory isn't that important, exciting, stupendous, or thought-provoking. However, collectively, these memories remind me of what a great father I had, and how every little thing he did truly made a difference. Through Doug's entire life, excuse me, page turn. I have known him as a kind, happy, extremely funny, and generous man. Even with the challenges Doug faces now with his legs and his knees, his attitude is always positive. I can only hope that if I am lucky enough to reach 95, and I can follow in his footsteps. Dad, I love you, and I feel extremely fortunate to have you as my father.
Let's see.
So I just have to end with a little limerick. Most limericks are funny or have naughty things in them. I hope mine is here. There's a legend who's turning 95, with humor and kindness alive. Doug's Jaeger in hand, he's the life of the band, still showing us all how to thrive. Have a good day, Dad.
Lori, let's see the shirt.
I'm going to come in the middle.
Drop the mic. Mic drop.
Thank you, Larry. I'm very nice to you.
That's your shirt, right?
Does anybody have a garbage can? Cry of boredom. But anyway, all right. Okay. So, yeah.
Very good. Very good.
We have another costume change. She has to make you grin. Okay, drum roll. God, I need Todd Zuckerman here. All right. Middle daughter, Lisa. Give her a round of applause.
Okay. So first of all, I can't remember things, so I have this now. And Pop, plus Richard told me not to babble tonight, which I don't know what he's talking about. I never So I wrote this down. So here I go. So at my dad's 70th, 80th, and 90th birthday, I talked about childhood memories, like my sister just did. So I didn't want to repeat. So I talked about things like him taking me on field trips and baking pies, Packer games together, and road trips from Green Bay to Elkhart with great stops at bars. Now that's important. That I remember. All meaningful. But tonight, I thought I would just talk about a specific visit that I had with him recently. And what happened is I stopped by the other day, and we usually talk about sports. Lots and lots of sports. Unfortunately, these days, we often talk about bodily functions or lack of. Poor eyesight, arthritis, and such, all while screaming because he will not get a hearing aid, and the TV's at volume 90. So, but the other day, I was just on my way out, and he pointed out that he just saw an ad. Oh God, I gotta get my place here because I'm a little bit flustered about this. He just saw an ad about Viagra and the cost of Viagra and so on. And then he actually said there's a generic brand that he could get for cheaper. So he's actually been given this much thought. So I pointed out there might be a potential problem because he really would need a willing participant before he should spend that money. And he told me that he has hope. He said there was that one girl who overdosed or drowned in a bathtub or something. He wasn't sure which. But she married a really old man, and it worked out for him. And I said, are you right? I said, I'm talking to Dad, right? You remember this? Are you talking about Anna Nicole Smith? Yeah. And he said, yeah, that's her. And so, Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh,
Yeah. And I informed him that his bank account in no way is big enough to have an arrangement like that. And he agreed. So then he asked me what age women started to lose interest in sex. I'm like, okay. So I said about 60, and for the record, I'm 62. And my dad said, no, I would say 50. So obviously there was some past experience. Sorry, Mom, or sorry, Dad, whichever you want to say. Okay, too much information. So I was thinking about two things specifically with that conversation. One, do men ever stop thinking about sex despite anything? The answer, no. Two, women do men. So to end the conversation, which I was very happy to end, by the way, when I left, I said to Dad, I think we need to stick to talking about Wildcats, Badgers, Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Anyway, to be honest, I love every conversation I have with you, Dad, and I am happy that I have you living 1 minute from my house, and I have the opportunity to see you whenever I want, and always enjoy our conversations. I love you very much.
Thank you.
And I will repeat as Lori, I am lucky, lucky, lucky to have you as my father. I love you.
Now the youngest and the best. I don't need a sweatshirt. Okay, you guys ready? I got enough dance floor space here because I have a little routine I'm gonna do. I've been planning this forever. The truth is, I have absolutely nothing. I looked at my phone, I still have my speech from when Dad was 90. And I thought I could say that again because he wouldn't remember it anyway. So that would be good. I don't remember it either, so it's okay. Even being the youngest, I don't remember it. So I knew going last that I picked the last straw, so I would just repeat everything they said. So that would be boring, and we all want to get on with it. Let's figure. Plus, most of you thought I was going to do something, so I'm just going to throw a little surprise at you. I'm not doing nothing. So, except for Dad. Well, no. Let me start with thank you guys. First of all of you for coming. It's amazing to see all the different faces and chapters in Dad's life. We have so many people here from. Dad wanted to make a speech and start naming people, and I said, probably not a good idea because you're just going to forget people and then you're going to feel bad later. So you got to do it like the Academy Awards where they just thank their fans and the producers and all the people on sets and all that stuff involved with the project. And, and then it's all encompassing, right? But there are so many different peoples from, the old cops in town, to Green Bay, to the family, to some of Pam's best friends. I mean, I could go through the Hobbses and just Kay Miller and Robin and Sue and all of you guys here. I mean, you all just have a special place in his heart. It's amazing that we had to actually kind of whittle down the invite list and be a little more selective. We were trying to keep it smaller, and everyone was saying yes. And we have, I think the head count was like 86 people here, tonight, and which is just speaks volumes about Doug, because everybody wanted to come and celebrate Doug, and that's cool. So thank you for coming to celebrate an amazing man. We all have lots of amazing stories about him. But, I mean, my singing, my great drive to the basket, my rebounding skills, my hurdling, I will thank him for. But he's just a really good guy. I think we'd all agree he's just this great, nice guy. He doesn't, like Lisa said, he doesn't complain. He just is like, how you doing? Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Brewers are on tonight. I'm sorry, Dad, could you turn the TV down so I can hear you, But it's just such a neat thing to have such a man that you love, but everybody else loves him. I've never heard a bad word about him. I mean, just everybody just says, oh, your dad's the greatest guy, we love him. And so thank you all for loving my father, our father. And that's about it. Dad, love you. Like the other girls said, I also, too, appreciate you as my father. I love you very much. And if anybody has limericks or anybody wants to come up and say something, now is your time to come on up. We'd really love to hear it. Just make sure you speak loud into the mic. Mr. Gritzmacher, we have the grits in the back. He's going to come on up and say a quick something. And Gary was part of Seepkins forever. He actually physically assaulted me as a child. I was teasing him through the screen door at the tavern, yelling at him, and he was a little drunk, and he hit through the screen. And that's one Brian's contribution for tonight. And then he hit me in the nose. It was awful. So anyway,
She could never take a punch.
as my father used to say, I can never take a punch. Anyway, Gary Gritzman.
This is very exciting. Could I all have from all of you yes, I think I hit Christine help with the mic. But anyhow, here we go. I got a couple of dirty ditties for you, or at least ditties.
Yeah, in the mic.
Okay, so here's a couple of them.
It's just loud.
You must.
All right. Of Dougie, to you the best birthday wishes. In your honor, I hope they serve your favorite dishes. Although my memory gets a bit blurred, I vaguely remember things that may have occurred. Did we shoot beer with raw egg and small fishes?
Brilliant.
All right, just go right close there. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you all for coming. I won't forget this, of course. A birthday party I would apologize because I never threw one for anybody else. But I did, when I had my 70th party, my wife threw it for me. And when I had a big 80th party, that was a surprise party too, and she threw it that one. On my 90th party, unfortunately, she wasn't around anymore. So I had my daughters to handle the whole thing, as they did this one mostly. So if you have any complaints, I'm quite lucky to be here, and I actually at this time when I had a 70, probably 80, 90, the reason I cheated a little bit is I was reading the obituaries, and I realized I may not make 100. But don't call me out. With that encouragement, I'm sure I'll make it. As you all know, who wants to live to be 100? Somebody who's 99. Well, I'm trying to think, I'm not much else to say. Oh, I have a couple of requests that I do look good for my age.
Yes.
And so, actually, there are a few secrets to that. Well, I don't think they're secrets, but one is you gotta have a lot of friends around you, people you like, and I can truly say right now, I don't know if you're all like me, but you're all my friends, because I can make a very positive statement. Right now, there is not one person that I know that I dislike. I'm not. That's not true for my lifetime. I had a few, but right now I dislike nobody, and I'm getting along well with most people, and I've been well taken care of. I have at the house. I have I got 2 or 3 guys that come in and visit me, help me out, make sure I take care of me, and that helped a lot. Plus, of course, I have my 3 daughters who even take care of me and their husbands, and they even bring me food quite often and things like that. And speaking of food, eating is proper. It's very important too. I eat every day, and of course I have a breakfast back here. Anyhow, I'm not going to mention. I probably was going to mention names and start naming this person, that person, but I'm going to try to stay away from names. So sure as heck I'll forget somebody. So without naming a name, I got these fellows that help me out, and they even take me out to eat somewhere. and when we go out to eat, it's fun. And I don't know if I have much else. As far as eating, how can you beat a town like Elkhart Lake? I mean, how many towns this size have as many good restaurants and places to eat than we do here in Elkhart? Now, you try to find a city this size or a village that has it, and you won't find many of them. I guarantee you. And well, I guess I got to think for a second if I have anything else I wanted.
You wanted to thank Kelly and Daniel.
Who?
Kelly and Daniel. You wanted to thank Kelly and Daniel.
Oh, yeah. I mentioned one thing I wanted to thank is as far as this restaurant right here, the fact that they gave the whole use of the whole place to me, and when I was eating, when I was able to travel, for breakfast, for example, there was this place, not this was
Off the rail.
the rail and the deep on the.
All seasons.
He loves all seasons.
Yeah, whatever. One thing is cooking. I'll admit my memory is my eyesight is getting worse. My hearing is getting worse. But my health, I try to think I'm still staying relatively sharp. But I gotta admit, my memory is bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
You remember me though?
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I know Melissa.
That should be on the t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, it is.
Anything else, Deb?
I guess besides thanking everybody and having a big moment, and if any of you are still wandering around the street once in a while, and you come past my house, you know where it is, stop in. I can find the shader if I can find it. It's an upper shelf. My traveling is several months ago, or half a year, I took a header, and I screwed up my left leg, so I travel on one leg. But that's why when I travel with a cane, and as long as I had somebody to hang on my left hand, I could make it. That's why I went for breakfast to the Four Seasons. The waitresses there, when it was raining or snowing or hailing, they would run out and help me from my car into the restaurant.
That's nice.
And that was, I always.
Hey, applaud her.
Yeah.
They should have a shot of you here for you.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess I don't know.
Here, I'd like to thank Doug for something.
This
This is I don't know if we got enough cord here. But I'll talk loud.
Yeah, you can talk.
Cousin Carl or nephew Carl or whatever. But I just want to say thank you in a weird way for accelerating my car driving skills, which you are never going to figure out how I got this story put together. I don't know if I should thank you or Jägermeister, but we used to come down from Green Bay, and I was all of 12 to 15 years old, and we'd go to Elkhart Lake. I knew, I'm sorry to say, it was going to be a shit show. And my mom, Wheezy, would do our best to drive us home, and I think we made it to that stop sign one night, and I was all of 15. and I had to drive us all the way back to Green Bay in a stick shift car. And I will never forget that night. I think you stopped, and I'll embarrass you, about 100 feet from the stop sign, and I'm in the back seat. Dad made it 2 blocks. He's out, and it was all due to the, you know, the Jägermeisters of the world, and to this day, I still have a taste for it. I don't know why. Nothing better than Jägermeister on the rocks. But anyways, that would be. Thank you for allowing me to learn how to drive home from here every back road when I was 15 years old in a stick shift car, and I'll never forget that night even. And it happened more than once. So happy birthday, my man.
Thanks, Carl.
Gotta blow them out. Gotta blow them out. Big whiff.
Make a wish.
It's officially still has a lot of hot.